All right, it's 11warriors.com web report. Dan and James, merely Beau. Look, we were going to talk about a 9-0 basketball team that went through this incredible stretch of gutty basketball, but instead, as we tape on Tuesday, we have an offensive coordinator at Ohio State. I will speculate wildly, and you guys can do the responsible thing. When Ryan Day turned down the offensive coordinator job with the Tennessee Titans and the ability to coach Marcus Mariota, because if he had success, and think about this, folks, if he had success in that job, he would have gotten all the credit for that offense, and that leads to you being the head coach in the NFL relatively quickly. That can be a 1 or 2 year thing, where if you show success. If you turn those things down, there has to be something coming back your way. On paper, it appears that is offensive coordinator, play caller of the Ohio State football team. I have to wonder if perhaps other conversations have been had about a future for Ryan Day at Ohio State. That's me speculating wildly. Now I'll let you guys tell me what this means for 2018.
Well, I think the big thing is that, for one, certainly, they had to give him a new title and a raise to keep him around, because there's a lot of people that wanted him. I mean, apparently an SEC school was interested in him as a head coach, and certainly the Tennessee Titans this past weekend were interested in hiring him as an offensive coordinator. So I think the promotion, first and foremost, is about keeping him around and investing in him. And, in terms of how it will change the offense, I think with him and Kevin Wilson, I think they were already working very much in collaboration last year. Day is going to take over primary play calling duties now, so we'll see how that affects the dynamic, at least in terms of Wilson. But I think that Day already had a really big role in terms of managing this offense and in terms of especially the development of the passing game. And I think as you looked forward to 2018, with this quarterback competition that's coming up, Dwayne Haskins, Joe Burrow, Tate Martell, no matter who wins that job, they're going to have to rebuild this offense a little bit to work around that quarterback, and he was going to play a huge role in that already. So in that regards, I think a lot of that's still the same. In terms of a future, it's hard to speculate on that, but I certainly think this is a guy. The fact that they're promoting him after just 1 year, that tells you how highly they think of him and how much they really didn't want to lose him.
James, are you willing to come out on a plank with me and wildly speculate that Urban Meyer told Ryan Day that he will follow him as the head coach at Ohio State?
No, I won't go that far.
I'm not going that far either. Save the comments. Something's been said, though. I do think that. Go ahead.
I do think they are building for the future, though. They have two really young assistants, not only Day, but you have Grinch that they brought in to coach the defense. I don't know if they've told any of these guys, you're the head coach in waiting, but I do think they are building something for the future. You're bringing in young, fresh coaches that will want to recruit, that will go out and recruit good players, but they're also going to bring in fresh ideas, which I think is something that Ohio State, especially on offense, if you look at their offense, they could use some kind of influx of new ideas and more exciting plays. So I do think that they are trying to build something for the future, but I won't go as far as to say that either of these guys are head coaches in waiting.
Would you go as far as to say that a 9-0 basketball team with, these were gut check wins. None of these were easy. Minnesota was relatively easy, but you're playing in front of 18 people in Ramsey at the Madison Square Garden. So you played a game in Chicago in front of, you estimated about 6,000 people.
Yeah.
That Northwestern was dying to win. Northwestern came till the very end. Ohio State guts that out. Then you go to New York and you play in a crazy, absurd game that Jim Delaney arranges against Minnesota, and you get that done. You win handily. Then at home on Monday night, Nebraska gives you everything they got, and they go up 3 late in the second half. And I said to myself, you know what? It's coming to an end. And once again, gut check and response. And Dockich was key in this run. He had that great run there, and they almost missed the alley-oop, which would have made it even more fun. He probably should have just made the damn layup. But you get the point. This team, the give-a-damn level on this team is off the charts.
It's really unbelievable, and it all comes, and I've mentioned this before on this show, it all comes back to Jayshawn Tate and Keita Bates-Diop and what they bring to this team in terms of energy and, like you mentioned, the give-a-damn level. Jayshawn Tate goes out with an ankle injury, and you think, like you said, this is it. This is where they skip a beat. He comes back in, and even when he was out, Keita Bates-Diop picked up the slack like that. He was moving well without the ball. Yeah. His outside jumper wasn't falling 4 games in 8 days. It's easy to see he was a little fatigued, but they find other ways to win. When one thing's not going well, they don't panic. They were down 10 to Minnesota last week on Saturday. They don't panic. They find other ways to win, and that's really the mark of a great team. You find different ways, a variety of ways to win.
It's stunning. Any of these would have been reasonable games to lose. I mean, you'd been fine with it. These are losses that happen in Big Ten play, and yet this team doesn't. I think the other thing about this is, and you don't like calling out people individually, but I think that there are attitudes that aren't there anymore. And we ran a bite on the television show we do on Spectrum Sports, the 11 Warriors Report, from Jay-Sean Tate, where you just see the joy as he's describing what it's like to be on this team. And I think that's part of it.
Well, he was talking about it last night, just about the buy-in and how this team is so bought in to what Chris Holtmann is doing. And you see that. You see this is a team, they're all on the same page. Keita Bates-Diop was asked last night, said, how do you guys feel like you fit in terms of your roles? And he said, they fit perfectly. So this is a team, they not only believe in their coaches, they believe in each other right now, and they think they all believe in what their roles are, how they complement each other. I think some of those guys you talked about last year, there were guys on last year's team who they felt like they were the star, and they wanted the team to revolve around him. Whereas I think all of these guys right now, they're playing selfless basketball. I think certainly there's people on the team who recognize, okay, it runs through Keita Bates-Diop, it runs through Jay-Sean Tate. We've got to understand it, but I think everybody's accepting and understanding and playing within their roles right now, and because of that, this team's on the same page, and they're just clicking.
Yeah, they've got 3 straight home dates, guys. Let's get out and watch some basketball. The attendance numbers aren't where they need to be for a team that's going to be 12th in the country. Very likely they'll win their next 3, and they'll be 12-0, going to West Lafayette February 7th. If Purdue does the same, you're talking about Purdue ranked 2nd, 3rd, 4th in the country. Ohio State ranked 7th, 8th, something like that. Very likely that'll happen. We got a real basketball team on our hands, guys.